Rush Limbaugh was celebrating his 118th anniversary being on the radio. And guess who found the time to call up and shoot the shit with him? This is a creepy love fest between two idiots.
We're going to the phones, and we have a special guest. Who is it?
So, Rush, I just wanted to congratulate you on 30 years. This is your favorite president, and I think you are fantastic. And I heard about it, and today is the big day, 30 years. I wanted to call personally and congratulate you.
I am floored. I thought there was nothing anybody could do to surprise me today. I've been preparing for anything. Mr. President.
You're a very special man, Rush, and you have people that love you. I'm one of them. But you're a very, very special guy. What you do for this country, people have no idea how important your voice is. So I just wanted to personally make this one, and I said I'll even dial the number myself if I have to. But I just want to congratulate you. 30 years in that tough business is incredible. And you're stronger now than ever before.
Well, I thank you so much. It's such a thrill to hear from you. I told you, anytime you want to appear here, you are more than welcome. I don't want to hound you by asking you because everybody's doing that, trying to get you. But man, this is great. I'm so flattered. While I had you, can I say a little something back at you here?
Yes, go ahead, Rush. Go ahead.
Are you aware? I have to think you are when you go to your rallies. Are you aware of what you mean to everybody who voted for you, and I think a bunch who didn't, who want to the next time around? People have invested their hopes and their futures in this country being made great again and saved in you. And are you when you're alone, which you may not ever be, but when you're alone in the White House, do you think about that? Do you ponder what you've come to mean to people?
Well, I love these people, and you probably saw last night I was in Florida, and we had 9,000 seats in the auditorium. That was packed, and we had thousands outside and in these rooms all over the place. And I guess they had at least 18,000 people that couldn't get in last night, and which I hate. So we actually were starting to put up big screens. I must tell you, it's such an honor to me to see this. There's a love. I don't know if you were able to see it last night, but any of them, I mean, there's such tremendous love. I'm going to Ohio on Saturday, and tomorrow I'm going to Pennsylvania, and it's the same thing. It's like the enthusiasm. And part of it is that they've really been mistreated by so many years by the politicians. The country's been mistreated. The trade deals are so bad. The taxes were so high. The tax cuts are so good. They've been so appreciated by so many people. The cut in regulations maybe is just as important as the tax cuts because businesses are hiring like they've never hired before.
Well, but your key, I do understand it. I understand the bond that those people attending your rallies have with you and you with them. I've seen it. I know why it exists. And you are consistent. Things you said during the campaign, things you still say today. You haven't given anybody reason to doubt you. You haven't betrayed anybody or made them think that you're going to.
That is disgusting. They're just sniffing each other's asses the entire segment. And that continues, by the way. I spared you. I didn't want to, play the whole thing for you and make you vomit. My favorite part is the end there when he's like, "Oh, sir, you have been consistent." Really? Donald Trump has been consistent? Donald Trump has been consistent. Let's just take one issue. Wars, foreign policy. On the campaign trail, he said repeatedly, we should get out of Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a waste of money. If you look at his Twitter feed during the Obama years, he goes on and on and on about why are we doing this? This is so stupid. They don't even want us there. Our people are dying. It's for absolutely nothing. We got to get out of Afghanistan. We got to get out of Afghanistan. We got to get out of Afghanistan. He ran on this stuff. And what happened? As soon as he got into office, he increased troop levels in Afghanistan. So consistent my ass cheeks. He totally went back on that point. 100% went back on that point. Trump promised, I'm going to keep your job in this country. He ran in a very populist way against these trade deals. And then what happened? In Trump's first year in office, 93,000 jobs were outsourced. So he didn't stop the outsourcing. He didn't fight back against the trade deals. He may have killed TPP, but guess what? He slipped the worst provisions of TPP back into the renegotiation of NAFTA. And by the way, while we're on this topic, hey, Rush Limbaugh, his whole career, he's been in favor of outsourcing deals, free trade deals. So now Trump comes along and he does the rhetoric against those deals, and all of a sudden Rush Limbaugh is going to shut up and act like he doesn't have a disagreement on that. But listen, man, that's the point. That's the point. These guys have no principles. These guys aren't consistent. Rush Limbaugh doesn't have an ideology. He's a sycophant. He used to say, before Trump won, you want to know one of the things he said on his show? Donald Trump is not a conservative. That's what he said on his show. Would he say that now to Donald Trump's face in this call where they're sniffing each other's asses? Would he say that? You know, Mr. President, I like what you're doing, but I don't think you're a conservative. Would he say? There's no way he would say that. So he's just genuflecting at the altar of power. That's what Rush Limbaugh is doing. Again, there is no comparison here. If I have a conversation with Bernie Sanders, am I all of a sudden on the issue of BDS where I disagree with him? Am I all of a sudden going to pretend like I'm in favor, like I'm against BDS like Bernie is? No, if I have an issue where I disagree with Bernie, I'm going to bring it up to Bernie. Rush Limbaugh is talking to Donald Trump. Donald Trump brings up, these trade deals are so bad. Rush Limbaugh was a cheerleader for every single one of those fucking trade deals, and he doesn't say, well, hold on, Mr. President, here's why I think that those trade deals actually were a good thing. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that because he doesn't actually believe anything. He has no ideology. He has no philosophy. He has no principles. He's just a vapid Republican talking points machine. So, Jesus Christ, it's so annoying. And then when you get the guy bragging about tax cuts and deregulation, I mean, for fuck's sake, man, it wasn't even that long ago when we had the last crash that was brought about by tax cuts for the rich and deregulation. In other words, exactly what Donald Trump is doing right now is the thing that led to the last crash. It was under Bill Clinton when he repealed Glass-Steagall, so you had that, and then you also had George W. Bush do tax cuts for the rich and further deregulation. So every time we cut taxes for the rich and we deregulate, it leads to a boom-bust cycle. Everything takes off and then it collapses. Donald Trump is bragging about that on Rush Limbaugh's show. Rush Limbaugh, of course, was in favor of the last fucking round of tax cuts and deregulation. So this is an issue where he happens to agree with him, but they don't allow the empirical evidence to fucking penetrate their bubble that they're in. And so nobody's there to be like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't brag about that because there's going to be another crash, and that's going to be why. Do you understand, sir, what you mean to everybody who voted for you? And more. God damn, get a room, you two. Jeez. And for the record, man, Rush Limbaugh is broadcasting to nobody. I mean, he was kicked off of his flagship station a while ago. Not many people know that. He was kicked off of his flagship station because nobody was listening to him. And he had remember the Sandra Fluke incident where he called somebody a whore because she uses birth control or something like that? And a lot of advertisers fled his show. On his flagship station in New York, they were playing dead air in his breaks and public service announcements. So ever since then, it's been advertisers have been running away, but he's propped up by the right-wing think tanks. He's a corporate welfare case. They give him money even though he can't make it in the free market, which is hilarious considering what he proclaims his ideology is. So he can't compete. Now he's on third-tier, fourth-tier radio stations. Nobody's fucking listening to him. But there's still this mythology out there of like, Rush Limbaugh is gigantic. No, he's not. Nobody's fucking listening. This show is way bigger than Rush Limbaugh's show. Would President Obama come on this show? Please. Never happened. So it's just that right-wing bubble is thick, man. It's really thick.